Well, good afternoon and happy International Women's Day. Now, I'm not able to just speak off the cuff for a variety of reasons, but it's good for you because otherwise I could just go on and on. This keeps me a little bit constrained and under control. Anyway, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you to Hofstra University for this International Women's Conference. I want to thank Neva Alexander for inviting me to speak and for bringing everybody together here today for a day of learning, networking, and recognizing the countless ways women contribute to society, locally, nationally, and globally. And personally, there are few places I would rather be than in a room with a bunch of smart, intelligent, and accomplished women. So I'm absolutely delighted to be here today. And just for the record, I'm only the president of Hofstra University. You all understand that, right? Okay. But before I begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of Hazel Dukes last weekend. She was a history maker who dedicated her life to advocating for civil rights. She fought for things that mattered to women, such as voting rights, education, and adequate health care. I am thankful for the honor of having I met her several times and spoke to her over the course of the past few years here on our campus when she was here for various events. So I've been at Hofstra now for 3.5 years, returning 3 years ago to New York, where I grew up, after spending virtually my entire career in the Midwest. First at the University of Nebraska for over 20 years, and then at the University of Illinois, Chicago, UIC. As you might imagine, moving to Lincoln, Nebraska, where my husband and I both landed our first teaching jobs, was quite a shock for a nice Jewish girl from New York City. But after a couple of years, I made a conscious effort to stop complaining and look at the bright side, the wonderful people, the ease of living, and the excellent public schools, all of which made it possible for me to build a career as a working mom with relatively minimal stress, and as Claudette Powell pointed out, very good babysitters. And I want to just sort of put in an exclamation point on what she said, that you can absolutely have an exciting career and children. These children are watching you. You are a role model to them. They see everything you do. And my 2 adult children, also very successful, upstanding citizens, have actually articulated this to me, that they were watching me and that I served as a role model, and I helped them by not being around. And actually the 3 of us, on that note, the 3 of us have agreed many times that had I been around all the time, it just wouldn't have ended well, probably. So that most unexpected landing place for me in Lincoln, Nebraska, for the formative years of my adult life, turned out to be a great thing for my career and also for my understanding of so many things about this country that you don't get in Manhattan, like where our food and our energy comes from, and like the fact that there are smart, interesting people everywhere working hard and helping others. So speaking of people who are working hard and helping others, I'm going to take just a few moments of personal privilege to talk about some of the women at Hofstra who are doing just that. And please know that these are all superstars, and I'm sure you know at least some of them, but they're really just a small sample of what's going on here. Dr. Martine Hackett is professor and chair of the Department of Population Health in the School of Health Sciences. She does critical research and teaching, focusing on racial disparities in maternal health and health care. Dr. Rosanna Parati is a professor in the Political Science Department in the Calico School, and she leads the Hofstra Votes initiative to encourage students to register and vote. And she was instrumental in making Hofstra an early voting location this past cycle and making it possible, therefore, for members of our wider community here in Hempstead and Uniondale to have the convenience of casting their vote on our campus. Shonda Washington, Hofstra's inaugural Associate to the President for Government and Community Affairs. My guess is many of you do know her, sitting right here. Whenever we go out, we walk somewhere together, say hi to somebody, and everybody hugs her, and I'm just standing there. Shonda is making Hofstra a better place by connecting students, faculty, and administration to community members, elected officials, and organizations all over Long Island and beyond. Anita Ellis is our Director of Commuting Student Services and Community Outreach. She partners with the residents and civic organizations in the communities surrounding Hofstra to offer services, simple things that make a difference, like planting flowers in yards, raking leaves, and making sure our students who live among them are good neighbors. And of course, Athleen Collins, the Executive Director of the Cultural Center. Everybody knows Athleen. She works tirelessly to curate speakers and bring in creative events that are open to the public, but you all know she does much more than that. Her work at Hofstra and in the community has been recognized this year by the NAACP Hempstead branch as one of their 2025 Remarkable Women. On campus and in Hofstra schools, our faculty and administrators create programs that support women to take many different paths, whether they aspire to be entrepreneurs or seek to enter other high-demand careers or want to earn an advanced degree. In entrepreneurship, statistics show that women own more than 12 million businesses and employ over 10.7 million workers. The Zarb School of Business at Hofstra hosts the Idea Hub, which provides support for entrepreneurs in all stages of business creation. We do that right here for members of our community. Zarb's Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship provides hands-on technical assistance with the application process for New York State Minority Women-Owned Business Enterprise certification. The DeMatteis School of Engineering has programs that help women pursue high-demand careers like computer science and engineering, where women are underrepresented. The Women's Summer Program in Computing and Engineering helps students learn in a supportive and inclusive environment and develop leadership skills necessary to enter the workforce with confidence. The Computer Science Department also serves as the satellite location for Cornell University's initiative to get more underrepresented college-age women involved in artificial intelligence. So we host dozens of students here in the summer for an AI course that is part of Cornell Tech's programming. For women seeking advanced degrees, our online MBA program, which is now ranked 14th in the country by US News, gives busy professionals flexibility as they seek career growth. Hofstra School of Health Sciences offers accelerated and dual degree programs so that students can earn both an undergraduate and graduate degree in 5 years, or even 4 years in some cases. And this gets them into the healthcare workforce faster, saving time and money. So, I'm doing my job up here. These are just a few ways in which we are using what we do best, which is to provide a first-class education to undergraduate and graduate students to empower women and set them up for productive, satisfying careers. So as the first woman president of Hofstra University, I feel a great responsibility to create an environment that gives all people, regardless of race, religion, sexual identity, disability, or any other characteristic, the opportunity to get the education and the support that they need to be a lifelong learner and live a successful life. I'm carrying out this responsibility by putting students first, by hiring carefully, and by leading a team of people all aligned on our goals, but who also bring their own incredible creativity and seriousness to achieving these goals. My senior cabinet of 14 is 50% women. It's actually majority women if you count me. And it's more diverse than it's been in the history of Hofstra, which I'm afraid to say is not saying all that much, but we're working on it. And the 11 academic deans are also majority women. We all share a goal of protecting academic freedom and free speech and standing firm against racism and discrimination of any kind. We have worked this ethic into the university's 5 core values, which we recently established as part of Hofstra's new strategic plan. These core values are belonging, community, creativity, discovery, and integrity. We live by our core values because they are foundational to self-actualization and thriving in today's world, and they take the long view of building a good life. Which takes me to the theme of today's conference, health and happiness. We are living in very challenging times. There are challenges that are long-standing, like climate change, like historic inequities that continue to persist, and the proliferation of guns and the acceptance of violence. And then there are newer challenges, like the aftermath of COVID, which has brought on its own epidemic in mental health challenges, particularly among our youth, and the political challenges that we are now facing with this new administration. I think it is fair to say that one element of those challenges is the revival of a war on women, as it feels like we're going backwards with respect to the right to do what we want with our bodies, coupled with a fetishizing of this new term, trad wives, which feels like it might very well be a threat to our independence, and, I have to say, the toxic masculinity currently on display in the halls of power. I know you're not actually applauding that. Okay. So indeed, we must continue to search for health and happiness and support each other in that quest. Now, there are so many aspects of our health that we, of course, do not control. So much of it is simply a matter of luck in the form of circumstances into which we are born and the genes that we inherit. The things that we can control, and this has been said before today, we all know very well, right? Eat well, exercise, all of that. It sounds easy, and there are very clear rules, things we know we should do, but sometimes life gets in the way. Happiness is a little harder to pin down as a set of rules, how to cope and to thrive in this crazy world. Health is foundational to that, there's no question. My grandmother, who was a Jewish refugee from Hitler's Germany, who was fortunate in 1935 to get out with her family, which included my mother as a child, always used to say when I would ask her when I was younger how she is, she would say, "Fine, fine, I'm always fine." And then she would add, "I have my health. That's the most important thing." Now, to a child, that sounds so dumb and boring. But with each passing year, I understand it and I appreciate it more and more, of course. But even, let's assume, with good health, how do we find happiness? How do we maintain that internal sense of peace and calm when things do not feel so peaceful and calm? And you've already gotten a lot of very good and interesting advice on this today. So this is a hard question for anyone, but for women, it is complicated by responsibilities and demands in our daily lives, feeling sometimes like we have to be everything to everyone, the exhaustion of being constantly underestimated, misunderstood, and of course the frustration of those small indignities that add up over a lifetime and a career, whether it is actually harassment, being overlooked, the mansplaining, and so forth. I have stories, of course, for all of these categories, and I'm sure you all do too, but we won't go there right now. I wish I had an answer for this. For myself, I think about it as two things. First, happiness lies in positive relationships with other people. This is even proven by research that people with good relationships, families, friends, or both, tend to be happier and to live longer. I dare say that women are much better at this than men are. But our busy lives sometimes get in the way of even this simple, most human experience of friendship and love, because we're busy. But we need to do it, and a conference like this is a very good way to do it. And second, in addition to these relationships, I believe that one has to have something aside from work that brings them joy on a personal level. Or to put it another way, one has to have something in their life of beauty, something that they can call up that brings perspective and calm and forces them to see the bigger picture. And this idea is summed up in one of my favorite quotes, which comes from the famous pianist Van Cliburn, talking about music. If you hold on to the beauty and the inspiration and the clarity that is music, you will have an anchor. and you will not be too far swayed by what the world is. Another pianist named Seymour Bernstein put it this way, and I'm paraphrasing this time: "My music is a translucent dome that surrounds me and protects me. My detractors sometimes hammer on it, trying to get through, but they can't." Now, as you can see, I'm partial to pianists, but that's just me. There is so much beauty out there, whether in art, music, dance, or in other activities that give rise to a sense of beauty and provide perspective. It doesn't have to be an art form. It could be walking through nature, working on a craft or a hobby of any kind. It could be in sporting activities, or even simply reading and writing. Whatever it is, I really believe that we all need an anchor, something that brings a sense of peace and calm and self-worth that we hold at our core and that no one can take away from us. And it is never too late to find this and make time for it. It's so crucial that we take the time, again, as you've heard before today, to nurture our inner lives, to calm us and restore us, so that we can go out and continue to live these big, challenging, and exciting lives. Thank you.